All right, there was a whole batch of these books. They found literally books, and they were in good shape. And the Gospel of Truth, I just want to start off with that one. The Gnostic Society Library, Gospel of Truth. This is what it says. And these were stored away for 2,000 years. Nobody messed with them. Nobody distorted them like a lot of the other texts that are now considered the important texts. They have undergone probably some changes. This, no. These were buried and uncovered in 1945. I just want to read you a couple of quick statements about the Gospel of Truth. It says, the Gospel of Truth is joy to those who have received from the Father of Truth the gift of knowing Him by the power of the Logos, which means knowledge and reasoning, who has come from the pleroma, which is basically space, and who is in the thought and mind of the Father. Right? He it is who is called the Savior. So knowing Jesus through the power of the Logos, that's just understanding. That's just knowledge. That's just reasoning is what Logos is. It's not accepting. It's reasoning. This is the power of the Logos. It's a persuasive technique, and it appeals to logic and reasoning, which is what I appeal to. It uses evidence, facts, statistics, logical reasoning to convince an audience, which is what I do. Examples include using data to support an argument, which I do, citing research findings, presenting a well-reasoned argument with clear premises and a logical conclusion, what I do, and presenting rock-solid evidence of the claims that I make about mud fossils, about everything basically. What I'm claiming, I pretty much can support. So I think my Logos is doing pretty good. Alright, that's all I'm going to do with the Gospel of Truth. But we also have the Gospel of Thomas, who says we are light. This is the Gospel of Thomas, and this is Jesus again. Jesus said, if they say to you, where have you come from? Say to them, we have come from the light, from the place where light came into being by itself and established itself and appeared in their image. So in their image, which is apparently God's image, and apparently there is more than one, in their image. Now if they say to you, is it you? Say, we are its children. We're the children of light, and we are the chosen of the living Father, because everything basically is made out of light, but somehow we got chosen. If they ask you, what is the evidence of your Father in you? Say to them, it is motion and rest, which is energy and not energy. Rest. That's it. And he also talks about the earth being a corpse. Now, I don't know if he means that literally or what, but here's what he says. 56, Jesus said, whoever has come to know the world has discovered a carcass. Whoever has come to know the world has discovered a carcass. Well, I think that's pretty accurate. I don't know about you. And he also says something in number 80, but it says, whoever has discovered a carcass of that person, the world is not worthy. Now that means if you see the things that we're discussing and then you realize this, then you're in that category. It's not just like one person. And number 80 says basically the same thing about a body. Now this is where one letter can change things. This is number 80. Jesus said, whoever has come to know the world has discovered the body. Now what if it was bodies? And whoever has discovered bodies of that one, the world is not worthy. Jesus is giving us a pretty good hint here to look into. And he says, discover the sayings here and you will not taste death. All right, right out. This was from Doubting Thomas. It's the Gospel of Thomas, who was Doubting Thomas. And these are the secret sayings of the living Jesus. Doubting Thomas recorded. He was a scribe. Now he said, number one, Jesus said, whoever discovers the interpretation of these sayings will not taste death. Now that, to me, does not mean that you have to understand every word of this and be correct. You have to search and seek and come up with an interpretation and not just skip over it. That's what I'm thinking. An interpretation doesn't mean you're right. In my mind, that's how I'm going to handle that one. Because I can tell you right now, I am going to be not 100% certain of many and many of these things, and some of them I'm 100% certain of, just like this one. Jesus said those who seek should not stop seeking until they find. And it's a process. It's a journey. It's not a 2-minute thing. You have to seek and seek and seek and open your mind up until you realize what you're looking at, and then look at everything again and look at it again and look at it again. All right? Don't stop seeking until you find. When they find, which is us, us, will be disturbed. Yes, we are. When us, are disturbed, us will marvel, and us will reign over all. Could be. Somebody's got to do a little reigning. I'm not sure I want to reign. I'd like to just stand off to the side and unreign, to be perfectly honest with you. I just want people to understand, we don't know. Look at this. Jesus said, know what is in front of your face, and what is hidden from you what is hidden from you will be disclosed to you. For there is nothing. Now here's why I'm saying all these things, because I was a little scared about saying the stuff I was saying. But this is what he said. This is Jesus saying it. There is nothing. Nothing means nothing to me. Every single thing is in play here. So Jesus said, know what is in front of your face, which I've been doing to people. And what is hidden from you, which is deeper than just what I'm showing you on the face, will be disclosed to you. For there is nothing hidden that will not be revealed. So everything's going to be revealed 100%. And there is nothing buried, like mud fossils, that will not be raised. And it just goes on and on and on. And some of these things are just, like here's Jesus said, I have cast fire upon the world, and look, I'm guarding it until it blazes. Well, I don't know about that. This is deep, and deeper. And over here is Pistis Sophia. This is serious stuff. And Pistis Sophia was basically the creator of this solar system, universe. I don't know exactly, to be honest with you. That's why I'd like to have some discussion with some scholars that have studied this, because it's a serious study. It's not a 15-minute job. Okay, my outstanding friends, if you like to think outside the box a little bit and explore possibilities, this is from the Nag Hammadi text talking about Pistis Sophia. It says the Gnostic Gospel written in Coptic are part of the Nag Hammadi library. It describes Jesus teaching his disciples secret knowledge after his resurrection. Central figures include Pistis Sophia, which is faith and wisdom, who falls from the higher realms and seeks salvation. All right, because she fell from the higher realms trying to create her own universe. Now, these are the central figures. Pistis Sophia is obviously number one. Now, the archons, or rulers, are the false gods and the creators of the material world. We're supposed to live in the world of light, and I'll explain that in a minute. Jesus, as the revealer and restorer of divine order. These are the central figures. Now, here's why I was looking this up. Because Jesus restrained the powers of these rulers, the archons, right? Remember this? These are the archons, the rulers, the false gods. Well, Jesus restrained their powers. In Pistis Sophia, he said, look, you guys are out of control, you're doing bad things, I am going to restrain you. So he did, apparently. It says, Jesus restrains the powers of these rulers, archons. There's a moment in Pistis where Jesus says, limits the power of the rulers of the aeons and chaos so that they can no longer create confusion in the cosmos. These are the planets, literally, I guess. These are the gods. They cannot prevent Pistis Sophia from ascending. They were attacking her viciously, it sounds like, if you read Pistis Sophia. And they cannot trap souls, or like us, unjustly in this material world. According to these texts, this is not the world you want to be in. You disassociate yourself from all this stuff, and you're supposed to become light. Now, how you do that, I can't advise you. But Jesus tells the disciples he went to the lower aeons, which are the really bad places, and took some of the light power from the rulers. Well, it's not the bad places. He's up in way up powers. So he went down and took some of the light power from the rulers and restrained them so they could not rebel or confuse the heavenly order. The act of diminishing or binding their power is key, but they don't say how much percentage. I thought it might be 30%. But anyway, Jesus has taken some of their powers. And this is in Pistis Sophia. It's very, very deep book. Okay, I know we've been talking about Pistis Sophia, but we're really talking about the origin and the makeup of the universe, of the solar system. How was it created? And what powers it? What's the energy? And I think I might have found some stuff that do relate to that. So we're going to move off of this, but I'm going to go and have a very long discussion with somebody who is extremely educated in what we have always considered to be the Bible and the book that is supposedly represents the truth of God and so forth, and the religious texts that are accepted. I am outside of that, and Pistis Sophia is one of those Gnostic texts. It was never understood. It's still not understood. Very, very complex. But to work with somebody that has that knowledge, that's going to be interesting. And also, be able to look into space. What's radiating out of the sun? Why is the sun the source of all life? And it is the source of all life. I don't care what you say. Those particles make everything grow. They make everything illuminate. They make everything warm. They make all the plants create atmosphere. They make all the plants create food. That's where food starts. And after that, everything works off of that, and the sunlight is the provider of all that. So we're going to be looking at some very new stuff that just came out basically today. Okay, this is in our atmosphere. This was the STS-80 mission back 30 years ago, 1996 actually. And here's what they did see, and they showed. Now, I need to explain this in terms of dipole electron flood theory to be able to present my theory in totality. If I can't explain this, I can't explain anything. So here goes. What did they see? Remember, we saw all these little particles floating around in the other videos I was doing. You see these things coming down? Look at these splashes happening here. Look at those carefully. I'm going to have to come back here and do this in slow motion and check this out real careful. But what is this one doing? It never goes away. It changes. But that one never goes away. The rest of them are popping, coming in, big ones, small ones, big flashes here and there. But then not that one. Look at this. And then as it comes and it hits different areas in space or different impacts coming into it, you get sometimes you can see a bunch of flashes at once. That intrigues me. There's something there that's not going away. And what is it? Anytime you see something glowing, that's energy. You see these splashes here and there? There's something slapping those particles, and they bounce back and they make a flash. This, and here's another, now that just popped out of nowhere. This is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be a lot of fun. I got to explain this. I can't explain this. I can't explain anything. Look at that. That just popped out of nowhere. This guy's just floating around. Intriguing. And this appears to be the envelope, and they're looking basically into a darkest side. I don't know. We really got a lot of digging to do. But anyway, that's where we're going to be going next, is into this, because now they had just come back from this solar observatory mission where they're looking at the particles inside the layer of the sun, but they're really way out there at the sun. This is here in our atmosphere. This is really interesting. Some of them come, they just don't go, and some of them just popped out of nowhere.